Candidates for the federal Conservative leadership still have months of campaigning ahead of them, but they've already wrapped up their last official scheduled head-to-head debate. The campaign's official French language debate held in Laval last night, a test of some of the candidates' fluency in French and a chance to engage Conservatives in the province on some crucial and controversial issues for Quebec. Janyce McGregor was following that, as always, the latest sparring match. We knew going in, Janyce, that some of the candidates weren't going to be as strong in French as others. How did they fare and how did the debate go overall?
Good morning, Heather. Yeah, it was interesting. You know, there were, obviously, you saw them there, 6 people on that stage, but half the field really was leaning rather heavily on prepared notes in French, unable really to fully engage in the cut and thrust of a debate that was held entirely in French. And so there were many points where this was really a debate between Pierre Poilievre, Jean Charest, and then Patrick Brown kind of getting in there a little bit at times to mix it up. I'm going to show you some footage from one of the rounds. It was specifically about protecting the French language and Quebec culture generally. No surprise to hear that topic raised by the moderator last night, given this week's news agenda with the passage of Bill 96 in Quebec's National Assembly. That's the kind of new language law that so many people are concerned about when it comes to minority rights. Brown and Charest last night going after Pierre Poilievre, accusing him of changing his position on both Bill 91 and Bill 96 and Bill 21, the ban on wearing religious symbols, changing his position depending on who he's been speaking to. Take a listen.
In Quebec, Pierre Poilievre is in favor of Bill 21, but in English Canada, he's against it. He changes his position based on who he's speaking to and where he is. He said in Quebec that if Bill 21, he said this in French, came before the Supreme Court, the government wouldn't intervene. I'm sorry, he didn't say the same thing to English Canadians. Are you bilingual or not? Tell us, Mr. Poilievre. In French, in Quebec, that's what you said. Answer the question. You said you wouldn't tackle it in the course. So that's what you said in French.
So not a surprise to really see Quebec issues at the forefront of a debate targeted at Francophone members of this party. Poilievre, at several points last night, really seemed to be messaging to those people watching who remember Jean Charest's time as Premier, going after his record from that time on taxes, on healthcare, on corruption scandals. A couple points of Poilievre really fond of the line, "Je me souviens, Charbonneau," a reference to of course, the inquiry that was held into the construction scandal in that province. But as we saw in earlier debates, Jean Charest, when cornered, comes out swinging. Take a look.
Mr. Poilievre, please add your name to the very long list of people who have foreseen the end of my political career. There is a long list. Oh, Quebecers announced the end of your political career, Mr. Charest.
Poilievre reminding people that when the Quebec Liberals lost, Jean Charest lost his seat, but Charest having none of it. Look, in the previous 2 debates, Heather, in English, Poilievre had a lot of very vocal support in the room. Those earlier crowds pretty cool to Jean Charest. Not so last night. Before this debate even started, he had supporters in the room shouting, "Charest, Charest." And the moderator at times really had to kind of tamp things down so they could continue and stop the disruptions. It was interesting to hear Poilievre facing some jeering and some booing last night at points.
We have seen, Janyce, as we've talked before, quite a bit of tension on stage between the candidates, notably between Jean Charest and Pierre Poilievre. Any sign last night that those dynamics are changing at all?
Well, things are still pretty intense, perhaps because he's the perceived front-runner. We did see Patrick Brown, Jean Charest, and others all piling on against Poilievre at various points. It was interesting in the scrums afterwards, both Brown and Charest were asked if there was some kind of an agreement between candidates not to go after each other, but to aim their guns at Poilievre. They said no formal agreement here, although they did acknowledge that they've known each other, worked together for a long time. But, you know, watching the debate, it's certainly did have the dynamic of everyone laying off each other so they could go after the front runner. How significant that dynamic is, though, unclear. This is a ranked ballot format where members will make their choices individually. It's not like a delegated convention where your guy drops off and then all the loyal supporters from one guy march over to the other guy that he's prepared to endorse. There won't be any of that in this race. But for those who are thinking about party unity when all this is over, after the snarking subsides, we did watch for one visual and see last night Pierre Poilievre this time making a point of shaking his rivals' hands. That's not something we saw after the English debate.
Janyce McGregor, thank you from Ottawa today.